Hi, hello. Welcome to the second part of my land grab apartment videos. Today I am furnishing the Goth apartment, and this is actually attempt number 2 because the game did crash on me and I made the rookie mistake of not saving. So this is why we are starting in the kitchen, and for their apartment I really leaned in on the dark color scheme and a lot of red accents. Basically, what you're going to be seeing in here is the main colors are going to be black and red. I also used a lot of the Gothic furniture pieces, and I kind of made the whole apartment feel old, so it's very much a contrast from like what the outside of the building looks like to the inside of this one. For the bathrooms, I did cut those out, but those do have a bunch of modern fixtures in them because I also wanted these apartments to have at least a sort of realistic element to them. I do change the floorings and the wallpapers based on the vibes, but the bathroom fixtures do remain the same for the most part. If I do anything, I might switch out a toilet or a sink here or there, but they should just remain the same fixtures and like not only just this apartment, but like every single apartment. From what I know of the Goths and from what little I have actually played with their family, which I think with them, the most that I ever played with them was in The Sims 1. And then once I started to like telling my own stories with my own Sims, I'd have never touched the pre-made townies ever again. Um, but I like to think of the Goths as like an old money family. They are very much generationally wealthy. Everything kind of just falls into their laps. I wanted the apartment to reflect that. So I used some of the most expensive items in the game, and that would be mostly just the decorations. Also, the kitchen cabinets and appliances are also the most expensive versions. And then these couches in the living room, I do believe those are also very expensive. I wanted to use furniture that you would be afraid to sit on, you'd be afraid to make a mess on, because again, I just feel like that's the Goths vibes. And in my mind, something has happened in the Sims universe, and the land grabs took it upon themselves to try and preserve the families that basically, I guess you could say, founded this world. So once they built these apartments, they invited certain families to come live in them at a very pricey cost, of course. But they told them it would guarantee that they would live long and happy lives here, that nothing bad would happen to them at the land grab apartment complex. And the first ones they called were the Goths, and the Goths took them up on their offer, but they said, hey, we want to decorate this however we want. And the land grabs said, have at it. You're paying for it yourself, though. And that is basically how all of these families, and I guess the occults, because we do have a vampire living in one of the units, ended up here. I would like to consider it kind of like a club, but for like the famous townies. But as I continue to decorate and furnish this apartment, we are going to be decorating the living room and the dining room here very shortly. I wanted to take a moment and talk about a few things. The Sims has opened up a new marketplace where you can spend money on fake money to not only get CC, but the kits that they seem to roll out every couple of days. I know that at this point now, this is pretty much old news. I think the marketplace dropped like last week. But I have thoughts on it, and I just kind of wanted to express those thoughts. I thought when I heard about it that it was going to be kind of like the Sims 3 store where it would just be like items. I think the Sims 3 store also had like a pack or something in there too, but it somehow seems worse. I do know that the CC creators are getting paid to put stuff in there, um, but from what I heard, it's not a lot and it doesn't seem very fair. They also have the kits in there for some reason. So instead of the kits being what were they like four or $5, you now have to spend money to get the fake money to obtain the kit. So basically, the kits are just behind a more difficult paywall, which doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. Like, Ever since The Sims has gotten bought out, I just feel like everything's only gotten more broken. I mean, there's laundry lists of fixes, and it just never seems to end all the fixes that need to happen in the game. And I'm reading about bugs that I didn't even know existed. Though to give them credit, the last time I like actually played this game was like months ago. I think I was playing my long legged lifespan, and that was I think like a day or two after Adventure Awaits came out, and I didn't even really play with Adventure Awaits either. I was burnt out at that point. Um, so I don't really have room to talk about all the bugs that need fixing and what bugs there are and what bugs there aren't because I don't really know all that much. Um, but there's just a lot of things in general with The Sims that's just not quite sitting right with me. I mean, I haven't even gotten the new expansion pack yet because I'm not feeling that itch to play it. I do think that the royalty system seems cool. The looks like sword fighting seems cool. The secret child baby thing seems cool. The royal lineage thing seems cool. It's just I fear that it's just gonna be broken, and I don't want to play with an expansion pack that's gonna be broken on arrival. But maybe one day I'll download it. We'll have to see. Um, and honestly, that's really all I wanted to talk about. I just needed to get some thoughts off my chest. But how have you guys been? Hope you guys have been good. I've been doing pretty good. I am almost done with the Shatter Me series, and I could not be more relieved. It is not fun. I am having a terrible time. Younger me would have loved these books. Older me is just in pain. I am struggling to finish the series. I am on the last book. I take it with me to work to read at lunchtime, and I am always hoping and praying there is some YouTube video out there that is just going to hold me up for the hour that I have lunch so I don't have to read it. But I think this weekend I am going to just absolutely demolish this book so I don't have to read it anymore. And I am also choosing to ignore that there is a series 2, and let me tell you, when I found out that there were more books after these initial 6, my heart was broken. It was crushed. I simply just cannot be bothered to put myself through this again. I don't even think I like any of the characters really. I was starting to like one character, and then in this book he got suddenly super whiny, and I can't. Honestly, I only continued the series because I was just in so deep and I needed to know how it ended on a non-Cliff Note version. Like, yeah, I could have looked up YouTube videos or read like synopsises and stuff about how the book ended, but like, I wanted to torch shelf. I wanted to experience it live and in person. um, but on a more positive media note, I did see Project Hail Mary and Ready or Not 2. Project Hail Mary is like a god tier movie. It's amazing. It reminded me why I love movies so much. Honestly, it's why I have such a passion for movies. I just love cinema. I love movies. I love knowing everything about them. I love knowing how they're made and stuff. And this movie, just like watching it, I felt so happy. Genuinely so happy. And I hate space. Space freaks me out. But this movie is like, honestly, I would put it above Interstellar for space movies. Interstellar is like really good, but Project Hail Mary just like hits it on a whole nother level. And honestly, Ryan Gosling is just chef's kiss, honestly. And then Ready or Not 2 was just a perfect sequel. I love random thriller horror franchises that just hit, that they're original, like the Megan movies, Happy Death Day, just like these 3 franchises, love them to death. Like, it's just fantastic cinema. um, but here we are. We are starting to decorate the bedrooms. This is Alexander's room. I kept it on theme with the rest of the house because he is still just a child. I thought about making his room more childlike. So I did get rid of the printed wallpaper because I felt like that wasn't really Alex's style, but I did keep it on theme with the bordering, like the whatever you call it, and the red wallpaper. But I hung up some space posters. I put a science table in here. I used a lot of the fancy furniture because I feel like his parents would have just bought him all kinds of fancy furniture because he's a very posh, rich little boy. And honestly, for Alex's personality, I'm kind of torn between him either being like one of the nicest rich kids you've ever met or like one of the snobbiest rich kids that you've ever met, like the kind of snobby where like you don't know something and they're like, you don't know that, that's really funny type of kid. Um, but I feel like he's more of like the nicer kind of rich kid. Like he will invite you over to his house. You can play with his science table. You can touch all of his stuff and he won't get mad at you for it. Um, and I also gave him this bat plushie because I felt like it was very on brand for the Goths to have a bat plushie. He also does have I believe he has his own computer. He most certainly does have his own computer. I also think that that him and Cassandra have the only computers in this entire apartment, which I think is really funny. Um, I also decided to make Alexander super obsessed with void critters. So he does have the void critter game in his room. I cut it out because I did have to condense this video down by a lot. It was 38 minutes. I cut out 20 minutes of footage. Most of it was just me being indecisive and also just little minuscule decorating things, which one of these was I put a bunch of void critter stickers up all over his walls because I just thought it was a really cute thing, and also it made the room feel more childish. Aside from the giant plushie, I also gave him the violin because I figured him and Cassandra were both into instruments, which is what you don't see in Cassandra's room is the instruments that I put in here, which speaking of, this is Cassandra's room, as you can tell by the bright fluorescent magenta bed. I did think about using this bed for a while, but in the end, I get rid of it and I use one from high school years. It's the one that has like the wrought iron frame and the all black swatch, and then I use the matching furniture with it. I was gonna go with this bed because it fit her personality. It's the bed I think she originally had in the original house. But I decided to move the magenta into the curtains instead. So even though she doesn't have her bed, she does have the curtains. The old Cassandra is still there. I also put up some random posters on her. I gave her the cloud mirror with the heart. I did think about putting that heart decal on the wall. We do use some very interesting decals, but that comes in a later room in the house. And then I put up some of these posters. I wasn't really sure about Cassandra's personality all that much when I was decorating this. I was just more focused on the fact that she was a teenager and the kind of vibes that I got from her. Um, so I decorated kind of like a grungy gothic teen girls room, if you will. This is me trying to figure out the lighting situation. I do just end up using the same sconces I have throughout the entire house, which is the candles. Which honestly, in an apartment, having this many candles probably isn't the best idea. But they're the Goths, and it's iconic. And then over here, I kind of set up a little vanity area for Cassandra. I use this mirror from, I believe it's Movie Hangout, I think, or no, City Living. And then I use this little stool, and I put a table here, and then I put some makeup clutter, I believe, from high school years as well. I did build these before I got all of my clutter packs, before I went down the rabbit hole of maybe if I get more content and more packs, I'll want to play the game more rabbit hole phase. Didn't work out for me, clearly. But I kind of wish that I had some of that clutter watching these clips back. I'm like, that would be a good place to put like the bag from the mudroom kit, or I would actually redecorate this room probably using some of the that one kit that comes with like the orange couch and like the funky like wall prints and stuff. I would use that in there too, and just like the everyday clutter kit, the bathroom clutter kit. But again, I built these like literally right after For Rent came out, so I don't have a lot of the new packs in there. I do, however, have Love Struck, and that plays a very big role in this apartment here soon. Once we are done here furnishing Cassandra's bedroom, she does have a fancier computer, I think, or maybe no, Alexander has the fancier computer, but I thought this one fit her vibes more. And then I give her, I think this is like a little reading corner, and then over there by the bathroom door, I give her a guitar and a violin and a boy band poster. And here we are in Mortimer and Bella's bedroom. Um, I decided to make them just a little freaky. So I gave them the vibrating heart bed in the cheetah print, as you do. um, and then the room kind of spiraled from there. I used the nightstands from Lovestruck. I used the bear woohoo rug from Lovestruck. I gave them a bunch of candles. I think the funniest part about this room though is the fact that I put a teeny tiny plasma screen TV in the corner, which you are not watching that TV from that bed. I am so sorry, but you are not watching that TV from that bed. That would be so far away and it'd be so tiny. But I imagined that Mortimer and Bella would sit on this rug at nighttime and like cozy up and watch a movie, Netflix and chill, if you will. Um, and then over here, I just put a dresser and I hang some ropes on the wall. Looking at this now, poor Alexander's bed is literally right up on this wall where the dresser is. Like, I decided to give Cassandra the biggest room, and I feel like Cassandra would have bullied her parents, a la Regina George, into giving her the biggest room in the apartment. But I feel like Mortimer and Bella probably didn't mind all that much. I just poor Alexander. I'm so sorry for him. Um, but this pretty much wraps up this apartment. It is not on the gallery yet, as I still have 2 more to furnish. The next video I'm putting out will be the pancakes apartment, and I can't wait for you guys to see it. As always, thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye!
Oh, so forgot.